Comic community, it's Batcave Comics. Here to do a contest video for Reedcomics81. His contest consists of books that you picked up for $1 or less. 18 years and over, live in the US or Canada, I believe. You're going to have to check his video to make sure that's correct. And be subscribed to his channel, of course, which if you're not, you definitely need to run over and sub him up. Whether you're old or new collector, his channel is just fantastic. In my opinion, one of the better channels on YouTube. If you want to build a collection consisting of key issues, spec books, hard to find issues, definitely a channel you need to be subbed to. His videos consistently revolve around a lot of them issues or comics, should I say. He puts out great videos probably once a week, once every couple weeks. I mean, sometimes I think he hunts for comics 24/7, which unfortunately I don't have that much time to do. I wish I did, but I don't. So, following the guidelines of his contest, some of these books, I'm pretty sure fall in that range. I bought them all for $1 or less, but I have been collecting for the better part, if not more than 40 years. So some of these I've gotten for cover price. But anyway, let me get rolling with this. I don't want to make this too long, but once again, make sure you go sub up Reedcomics81. So let me slide this over here. The first book I'm going to show is ROM #1. And I tried to pick books that are still kind of relevant or hot today. They might have not have been back when I bought these, but are, you know, books that are sought out today to try to keep it interesting. But ROM #1, I bought this for 40 cents right off the rack. I probably have 3 or 4 copies of this now. Most of them in relatively good shape, but definitely a book that was not really worth anything forever, and now it's starting to get its due. Another book I picked up right off the rack is Wolverine #1. As you can tell, it's a newsstand. I grabbed that right out of a little, I guess, family grocery store, you could say, that had a comic rack there. So and Wolverine's always been one of my favorite characters. I love this cover. For me, it was a no-brainer, even as a kid, for 60 cents. I might drone on about some of these books, but I'm just trying to give you a small history of where I got them and what I paid for them. All right, this is another one I picked straight off the rack for 40 cents. Avengers 196, First Taskmaster. This one's in fantastic condition. And I think it was one of them books that I can't even remember reading. I know I read it because I had a couple copies of this. One was really beat up, and that's the one I read. But happy to have one in high grade, 40 cent cover price. Definitely happy about that purchase. Now this one I found at a flea market for $1. And it was in fantastic condition, which is hard to find at a flea market. But this is X-Men #11. And the special thing about this book is this is the second print Pressman variant, which is extremely hard to find. And can go for quite a bit of money, especially in high grade. Alright, moving on. Now this next few books I'm about to show, you know, I'm sorry if this video gets long, but I'm trying to tell my story here. These books, I discovered eBay roughly 17 years ago. And that's when the Bronze Age was not that popular at all. Why, I don't know, because it's always been my favorite era of comics. So I picked all these up for 99 cents a piece. The first one I'm going to show is Firestorm the Nuclear Man, #1, and this is in super high grade. All these I picked up in super high grade. Why these weren't popular, just like I said 15 years ago, is beyond me. And I was buying multiple copies of these for $1. It wasn't just one copy. Miss Marvel, #1. Once again, picked up eBay for $1. Now this one I have a few copies of. The Inhumans, #1, in just fantastic condition. This is another one I have 2 or 3 copies of. All paid $1 for all of them on eBay. All right, let me get these out the way here to make room for some other stuff. All right, now I'm rolling into some books that I paid cover price for right off the newsstand. I'm trying to keep these in somewhat order as far as importance to me in my collection, and somewhat value. It might not be perfect, but X Factor #6, newsstand, 75 cents. Just a fantastic condition book. Another one that I bought right off the rack when it first came out. Now, these next, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4 books are all books I bought straight off the rack. Let me get this one out of the way. So I did pick up 337 right off the newsstand. As you can tell, I have 2 or 3 copies of this, and that was a 60-cent buy. One of my favorite covers of all time, Amazing Spider-Man 316 for $1 right off the newsstand. And Gambit #266, or X-Men, I'm sorry, 266, the first appearance of Gambit. All right, rolling on. Another one right off the newsstand, New Mutants 87 for $1. I actually had 3 copies of this. You could pick this book up for $1 all day long. Try that now. I recently sold the other copies. But yeah, this was $1 purchase. And then I picked up, here, let me put that up there. Strange Tales, #169. First appearance of Brother Voodoo. Another $1 purchase 15 years ago when Bronze Age books were not that popular. And all day long, $1. Bought hundreds of them. And I don't actually mean hundreds of this particular copy. Just, comics in general. The next one I picked up for $1, and this was actually off of another person who collected comics that were getting rid of his collection. But just a beautiful copy of Hulk 182, the second appearance of Wolverine. Picked that up for $1. I would say 20 years ago or so, 25 years ago, comics were starting to die down. A lot of people that were collecting were getting out of it, and I had bought in 2-3 collections off people and picked up some comics for, a pretty good deal. All right, now I'm going to get into some graded books. Now these books I bought raw and had graded, so it wasn't that I paid $1 for them already graded. Let me get this out of the way because the graded books are a little taller. But all these books I paid $1 or less for, and then had them graded. So the first one I'm going to show is a, oh, maybe I ought to put that back, is Omega Men number 3. That makes it a little too high. Omega Men number 3. First appearance of Lobo. Another one I had 3 or 4 copies of. Got my 9.8, so sold the rest. Alright, the next one I'm going to show that has definitely started getting hot as the past couple years is She-Hulk number 1. Another one I had bought off eBay. I had an original copy I paid 40 cents for in my collection that was beat, but I bought 3 or 4 copies of this off eBay years ago for $1 a piece. Now, you know, of course, you can't really get this for $1. Let me get these out of the way. Another one I picked up, and some of these are upgrades, but once again, I upgraded for $1. I had 3 copies of this. I picked this one up off eBay for $1 years ago. Best copy I had, graded a 9.6. My others graded a 8.5, but I ended up selling those. Now this one I picked up for $1 in that same time frame. Marvel Premiere number 47. Let me see if I can get that a little better. Featuring the first appearance of the new Ant-Man. Super high grade. I thought maybe it had a shot at a 9.8, but I did have it signed. Bob Layton and Stan Lee. Stan Lee's right there. But another, just a great book I picked up for $1. Now this next one's one I got off newsstand back when I was a kid, and one of my favorite covers is Amazing Spider-Man number 238. I did have this signed by Jim Shooter, John Romita Jr., and I just missed on Stanley. I think he canceled at this one. Fantastic, fantastic book. Always love this cover. Picked this up right off the newsstand. Alright, I'm winding it down. Next one up, New Mutants number 98. Right off the newsstand for $1. I had 3 of these. This one I thought might have had a shot at a 9.8. I did have Stan Lee later on, years later, 20-something years later. It still survived being in my collection. And I had Stan Lee, Rob Liefeld, and Fabian sign that, and it did hit a 9.6. So I'm not crying about that. All right, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. 5 books left. All right, this next one, I bought a collection, and it basically came out to cost 16 cents. And I also had another one of these I had gotten for 16 cents. But so this next one was 16 cents. I did have it signed and graded. But that is Giant Size X-Men number 1. Everyone knows what that is. First appearance of the new X-Men. This one definitely can benefit from a pressing and dry cleaning. I had this graded before I even knew about all that, so I'm definitely going to send this back in and have it redone. All right. Next one is, I got this book off the same guy I bought Hulk 182 off of. Actually, the next 3 books out of the last 4 I got from the same guy 20 something years ago, and I paid $1 a piece for these. So the next one I'm going to show is Amazing Spider-Man 129. And of course, I did end up sending it in, having Stan Lee sign it, and it graded a 7.0. Definitely another one that could improve from pressing and dry cleaning. All right. Then we're going to go with Hulk 180 for $1. This is another one I had signed by Stan Lee. Definitely will go up into the 9s with a pressing. I mean, this book is beautiful. I think one of the corners right there is niched, but it doesn't really break any color. So I know this will definitely improve from a pressing and dry cleaning. Well, guys, you know what's up next, right? For $1, I got Hulk 181. The first appearance of Wolverine. First full appearance. And this book originally graded a 5.0, and I definitely sent this one back, had it pressed and dry cleaned, and it went up a whole grade. One of my absolutely favorite books of my collection. Always has been. Picked this up, like I said, probably 20-25 years ago for $1. So I got Hulk 180, 181, and 182, all for $1 a piece. All right, I got one book left. Now this one came in that same collection. I got the giant size X-Men in, so I paid 16 cents for this book. So let me end this video with a 16-cent comic, and that is X-Men #1 from 1963. The first appearance and origin of the original X-Men. I was just beside myself when I found this thing. Probably the best find I ever had. But that's it. That's my video. I want to thank Reedcomics81 for putting on such a great contest, digging through my collection, finding books, and knowing what I paid for them kind of brings a smile to my face every time. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have great videos, great stories, and great prices, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of those. But if you're not subbed to Reedcomics81, do yourself a favor, shoot over to his channel right after watching this and sub him up. You won't be disappointed. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all my subs. Batcave Comics, out.